Welcome to part two on Porky's Corner. We're joined by James. Women love him, men want to be him. Isn't that right, James?
That is right, mate. That is right. I am. I'm quite a specimen of a man. Aren't I?
You're getting like Big Malk
What were these bins?
with his giant pig.
Nah, I'm not. I'm not. Everyone wants to look like Harry Hill nowadays, don't they? I won't ever do that.
Yeah, like Simon Jordan and Duke McKenzie and Big Malk.
Yep. No, I'll never be like that. I don't advocate for race either, like Big Mount.
Big Malk.
If you're an arsehole, don't matter if you're black or white. So I don't really care for that.
What do you think's at no commission, lads?
I think they're great. I like Canada Bob. I found it a bit difficult to get past his accent before, like first. I was like, is he Canadian or Irish? But he's
Well,
very
what is he? What
knowledgeable.
is he? Welsh or something? Pembrokeshire in it or something?
I'm not 100%.
Oh, I forgot what he said now, but I've seen it looks cold where he lives. He sent me some pictures.
Yeah, I like him. I like that Ryan and all. I'll try and play. You say he lives in Bolton, don't you?
He's all right,
Um,
Ryan. Yeah, nice kid.
yeah, he's all. He looks familiar to me. I know we're not all like living in each other's pockets up north, but he's got a familiar face. So I don't know if I might have seen him about. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, all the commission guys, yeah, they're very knowledgeable people. And I'll tell you what, I saw Bob. He went on Andy's channel, didn't he? Andy's Coven. I want to get on there now and meet Andy. He's become a bit of a hero of mine. Make it
Yeah,
happen,
Andy's
Russ.
the man. Andy is the man. Right. Bacoli had Triple D's gloves on. I want to get back to Bacoli before we go into the rest of it.
Hmm.
Why did they not have substitutes, at least one for each big fight running at the side? If they didn't, should they have just scrapped the fight or should they have had a proper substitute where they pay somebody a wage to be in camp and if they needed, they give them a proper purse? What do you think?
They should have done. I mean, that question does sort of lead you to think: was it legit or not? Because why would they waste their money like that on flights and all this? I do think though, with the level of money flying around, they should have had a substitute. Yeah, definitely, like a ready substitute. They
Yeah.
did it for the WBSS, didn't they? World Boxing Super Series.
Yeah, they did. What did you think to Bombay Dave and Horsecock's performance on Sky?
Um, just not fantastic, mate. They're shocking. They're biased.
It's not
He's
that long ago that Johnny Nelson's lawyer collared me in a box with Spartan Demolition at Doncaster St Ledger to come and
mm,
have a word with me and to explain to me that Johnny Nelson categorically denies that he is friends with Dave Caldwell. And could I tell Nicky Smedley to stop putting pictures on Facebook of Johnny Nelson and Dave Caldwell from their Ingle days with Nicky saying, "Look, the mates." Because Johnny categorically denies that he's friends with Dave Caldwell at all. Well, what have we just seen? He's been back ages
mm,
now on Sky. Johnny's the
yep,
one that books them, so that must have been another load of old pony, a bit of lip service paid to me at the Ledger, St. Ledger. What do you think?
probably. I just He's becoming a bit more of a company man again, isn't he? And I thought
Yeah,
Johnny had found his own voice. So it's a bit. It just shows what a pound note can do, doesn't it? Really, and that's what we're seeing at the boxing. Like with, I'm not going to go into it because you're going to talk about it in a bit, but with certain judging stuff like that,
yeah.
it's just
Listen, all Johnny's bothered about at the moment, and the rest of them, like Bombay Dave, all they're bothered about is sticking the knife in Adrian Mole. That's what's going on there, mate.
yep,
Adrian, they're all sticking the knife in you. Hey, they're all sticking the knife in you. So
yeah.
just watch yourself because you've been walking around like a blind man for the last 3 years, lad.
Well, he has, but I just think I don't even think he's probably not blind. He's probably understands what's going on. But he was handed the keys to a sweet shop, So he's probably milking it for all it's worth.
You know, he were hand at keys to a sweet shop and he brought key in lock. Couldn't get in, couldn't get at them all.
Yeah. Well,
Right, we've spoke
yeah.
about nearly all the fights now. We're going to come up to the main course shortly. We'll go Better Beat Bivol before we do the main one. What did you think to Better Beat Bivol?
I thought Bivol was absolutely brilliant. I scored the
Yeah.
first fight a draw, and I had Bivol on the front end of that first fight, and Beterbiev winning the last six. And it was just, normally you sort of question whether a fighter can sort of improve and do what they need to do. I think Bivol fought it absolutely perfectly. You know, he didn't allow sort of Beterbiev to sort of settle down like he did in the last six. Every time Beterbiev was sort of firing and, you know, with a heavy artillery, Bivol would just pivot a little bit and just one, two, three, four, and just not give him time to sort of set his feet and be the bombardier that he normally is. So I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And if we have a third fight, I mean, I think it'll be more of the same, really. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, generally a good boxer beats a good puncher. Like I say, I had the first fight a draw though, and I've always thought that Bivol is generally the better fighter. I think he's got a little bit more in his locker, and now he's realised what he had to do to sort of to keep Beterbiev unsettled. He's the younger man as well. Obviously, father time catches up with everyone. You get another 6 months on the clock. It's not going to do Beterbiev any favours, and I think Bivol will win even more comfortably next time. I had him by a couple of rounds.
Did you?
I don't know. Yeah, don't know where the draw come from, but I like Bivol. I've got an appreciation for just classy operators. So fair play to him.
Yeah, you could say he nicked it in them last 3 rounds. I had it by a round, really, but I thought a lot of his punches were hitting
Mhm.
other guys' elbows, but and he was missing a lot. But two very, very razor tight fights and two guys at the top of the game, I guess. James, do you think?
Yeah, yeah, massively. I think both of them can compete with light heavyweights in any era, particularly. And I'm going on about him, but Bivol, I just think he's just absolute class. I mean, what he did to Canelo, and people talk about the weight and why he weight bullied him. He didn't really weight bully him, did he? It was just superior boxing skill. And I just think that sort of operator, you're going to have trouble beating him on any night, really. So yeah, I love Bivol. I think he's great.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
good. What do you think next for Bivol, though?
Well, like I say, he's 33, I believe, isn't he? So he's got a little bit more sort of on the clock. There's not really anyone massively coming through, is there? Like heavyweight. I mean, Callum Smith's not really going to make a decent run of it, I don't think, because like we say, he had to battle with Josh Buatsi. I think Bivol would sort of make mincemeat of Anthony Yard. Uh, Can't really see anyone coming through. So unless he's going to go up to cruiserweight and try his luck up there, which I don't think he's big enough to do.
What Eddie talking about
Um,
OPT versus one of them?
yeah, he was, but I don't know if that'd be the right thing to do. I don't think Bivol's big enough for cruiserweight, and I think Opetai's another maestro. That's the word we'd like to use, isn't it?
Right?
Opetai's class. So I think that'd be a bridge too far for Bivol, just because Opetai's skilled and he's got the weight as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would I'd park it. Maybe do the third fight with Beterbiev because I think that's a guaranteed win with another 6 months on the clock, and then just see where the land lies. But I mean, he's got a divorce coming up and all that, and his missus has been doing videos on social media trying to stick it to him. So I think he's in for a rough ride, Bivol. So he needs all the money he can get.
Why is she
So if
milking
you
him?
Well, she said he's cheated on her and all that, didn't she? But he just seems like she's slagging him off, and she posted videos like cheering at his demise and stuff like that. And fair play to her. Like if he did cheat on her and mucked about behind her back and all that, but I just think you're in for it there, son. Do you know what I mean? She's going to try and get all the money she can out of you. She said she needs 7 grand a month or something to keep the kids accustomed to the life they've got. So I just think keep fighting because you're going to need deep pockets. So he could just do a Golovkin really, and just if he fights Beterbiev again, wins that, just keep building up your money. You don't need to move up and down really. I've always been an advocate of being king of your division. You don't really need to go anywhere.
Where do you think this leaves Yard now?
I don't know because, like I say, light heavyweight isn't a very deep division really, other than the top two, is it?
No.
So Yard's had the most. I said Josh Buatsi's had a funny career, but Yard's had the funniest career really. He's had the most profitable really for you know the career he's had because like 1 minute he's in against the bin man, and then they put him in against a world class operator. So he's not very deserving of a fight with Bivol, but I don't know. Callum, yeah, just get him in with Callum Smith.
Well,
Get him in with
Yard's
Callum
got a
Smith.
Commonwealth and a Southern Area belt to his name. That
Yeah,
is it. That's the Anthony Yard story, and he's mouthing off about Boatsi losing, but Boatsi has been more successful in his career than Yard. But Yard's just playing the game. He's there for money. Yard for me is a mercenary. I was looking at him how he carried on out there, and I thought, you're a mercenary. You beat nobody yet.
yeah, but can you? We don't like it, but can we blame him? I
Well,
don't like it.
don't tell me it's about legacy when you've been in sport 10 years and you've got, well, he's got a Commonwealth and an area. That's it. That's the Yard story.
I mean, his legacies. I would say that's a pretty good legacy for the lack of amateur experience that he had.
Would you?
He
Yeah,
had
but
a
not
name
for
for
the
the fame.
hype. When we're
No, not
hearing
for the eye.
Dream It, Believe It, Become It, and Lion Bars in the fridge. That's all we've heard from his guy, isn't it?
Yeah, from his guy though, not from him. Innit? That's
Well,
the thing.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, he's quite humble, yeah. But like you said, he was getting a bit tasty over the weekend and starting to annoy me. His best win's Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it was a dominant win, but Lyndon Arthur went in against Bivol and got schooled, didn't he? So yeah, maybe he needs to pipe down a little bit. I just think really because they've been talking about it for ages, haven't they? The Callum Smith fight. So it's obviously quite tasty to the promoters. Get him in with Callum Smith, and we'll see what happens. But there's such a void between everyone else and the top. Like they need to just stay away from the top. But Turbiev and Bivol really, even though I think Bivol wins if they fight a third fight, them two are the closest to each other in terms of class. They could just fight over and over again, really, until one decides to retire.
Do you
Unless
think?
some superstar steps up.
Do you think? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Eastern Europeans are they're brilliant, aren't
Okay, right. The main course.
they? Here we go.
Adames versus Hamzad Shiraz, an ambassador and poster boy for the Riyadh season out there in Saudi Arabia. What did you make of the fight, James?
It was a decision for, well, you just said it, he's a poster boy and an ambassador for Riyadh season. He's become little bit of their favourite. I thought it was an absolute joke. It reminded me, and I posted a comment on a video. Can't remember what video it was. It might have been another bloody Talksport one where they're talking about things. And I just put, I wonder what Bradley Skeet thinks of this. Because at times, he didn't do it in the same fashion, but Adames, he was just quicker off the, well, he pulled the trigger at times. Shiraz just looked like a rabbit caught in headlights. And he reminded me of Callum Smith, right? Hear me out before you roast me. He reminded me of Callum Smith in parts. When I've said about the negative side of Callum Smith, where he literally just has his hands up and just waits to be beaten, sort of thing. That's where he come across on Saturday night, and I just it was disgusting, really, that he got anything out of that fight, Hamza Shiraz. And I would love to hear what Bradley Skeet thought of the situation because, you know, just looking at it and just, yeah, see what you think. And any competent boxer now has shown that they can give Hamza Shiraz trouble because he wasn't any great shakes, Adames, but he was made to look like something seriously special out there on Saturday, and it was just because he was quick on the draw and he threw a couple of combinations.
How did you
It was
score it,
abysmal.
James?
How did I score? I did not score it a draw. That's for sure. I had Dames. I gave him about 4 rounds. He was 4 rounds up, something like that.
I gave him about 6, 7, 8 rounds. I couldn't decide. If you want to be Team Shiraz, you could give him by 6 rounds to Adames. But if you really wanted to be honest, could give it by 8, 9, 8, maybe 9 rounds. I just didn't see him do anything.
No, he didn't. He was literally, yeah, maybe I'm being generous there with the old four, but he was just being like Callum Smith when Callum Smith's caught in the headlights. Hands up, afraid to throw the jab because you're worried about what's coming back at you. And that, I don't want to bring religion into it and all that, but I'll say it. That was a decision for, you know, the religion and the fact that they're all brothers. And do you know what I mean? It just, yeah, it don't sit right with me. Doesn't sit right
What
with
did
me at all.
to Turkey getting up out of his seat and doing what he did? What do you think to that?
Doesn't surprise me at all. He's got the money and he can do what he wants, but
Who's
just
going to
don't tell us
cross-examine him?
exactly. And this is, I mean, I've been quite positive about the Saudi regime in recent weeks, but if you're going to take an outsider's view of it, this is the danger of him buying the Ring magazine. It's the danger of him being sort of the sort of editor in chief of boxing, full stop, really, because no one can challenge him, can they? And anyone who does, everybody's got a price, haven't they? So it doesn't really
Oh, tell me
surprise me.
about it. If you want to take him on, you're getting froze out. That's what's going to be
Exactly.
going on. That's why none of these lickers from the liquor squad dare say anything now.
No,
Nobody dare say a word. Nobody's
no.
questioning anything. They're all just calling him uh, His Excellency and basically noshing the man off and swallowing.
Hello, hello.
Is that
It's
harsh me saying that? Am I harsh saying that?
no, you're not. You're not. No, because I made a comment ages ago, right? When I had my own podcast, I actually said so of a similar effect. I said, look, it annoys me. It annoys me that things go on. But maybe, like, if I was presented with that money, I can't honestly say I wouldn't nosh the man off for the kind of money he's paying. You know what I mean? But I'd like to think I've got a bit more integrity, but I'm also living in social housing in Salford. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Money can get to anybody, really, can't it?
Can't get
Except
to
for your
me,
good
mate. And
self, Russ.
I won't nosh another man off for 100 million, mate. No offense, mate, but each to their own, mate. But
Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't now because I've got me bird in Barnsley, haven't I? So
have you got your bird from Barn? How did you meet her?
I told you, didn't I? I
Oh
met her
yeah,
on
yeah, on a
a
dating site. Go on,
on
lad.
a dating site. Yeah, she likes the remap wheelchair.
You took her where me and Dennis went, didn't you? At BBC as Salford Quays.
Salford Keys. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Salford Keys, that's it. I've been there. Are you
Yeah,
still
and I got
seeing
leather.
her?
Yeah, I saw her at the weekend.
Go on, lad.
Go on, lad.
Get up there.
I did.
Go on, man. You could do again Kent some tips. Mind you saying that. Kent's very distrusting of birds.
Oh,
So
my, to be honest, my track record. I mean, I don't want to turn this into bloody blind date, but I find it hard when a girl's nice to me because I've been in a couple of really ropey relationships, and I'm always sort of thinking to myself, "Hang on a minute, do you know what I mean? Like, why is she being nice to me? I don't know. I'm a psychologist, dream, mate.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, we've all got problems.
Yep.
So Shiraz, where does he go now then? With his poxy draw, Two judges had it 114, 114, 115, 114. Shiraz, one a draw. Other one 118, 110. So how is there a 9 point swing in a 12 round fight by two judges? Can you tell me, James?
Yeah, I can tell you. A 9 point swing with two judges, probably about 150 grand.
Well,
Something
Ian
like
John
that.
Lewis lost his license for a less of a swing than that, didn't he? So will that judge that gave that 115, 114 card, will he lose his license, or will the judge who gave it 118, 110 lose his? Which one's going to lose the job? Because the other one had it 114, 114. So they're either
Mm,
blind or incompetent. Which do you think it is?
well, I don't think it's either. I think there's the C word corruption has come in there as well, particularly given
Bricktop
what
said
you
it
said.
could have gone either way. What do you think about that?
Absolute bollocks.
I wonder. I can't wait to hear what Peter De Freitas has got to say about it on Wednesday, and Jerry. Do you know what I mean? And Andy later on tonight. I cannot wait to see, mate.
Yep.
I just can't wait. Honestly, it's okay. Do you think that Parker were too much of a risk and they wanted to get away from him to get to Usyk, or do you think the unthinkable happened?
I think the unthinkable happens. I've said that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm just going over old ground here. Joyce versus White. What do you think?
Absolute joke.
Should they both pack it in?
Yep. Because what have I said? They're heading for Pip. Pair of them.
Ain't one of them 40 and 137 this year?
Hmm. And the 37-year-old.
White. Been done
Oh
four
no.
times.
Yeah, Joyce is 40, isn't he?
Oh.
Well, Joyce just looks vacant. He just looks absolutely like the ghost of his former self.
Del Boy's
You know,
still knocking about. He's in his 40s now. He says he's going to fight again for his 50th. And he says he's got loads left in the tank. What do you think to that, James?
I think it's a joke, mate. Get him in with Zhang. Get him in with Zhang. It's the fight we all want to see. Come on. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
what's going
it's
to
going to
happen
be
there?
interesting, and it see what happens moving sideways. A lot of people are talking Fury Joshua because Joshua's called Fury out yesterday. Could we bear to go through all that Fury versus Joshua hype again?
No,
I couldn't bear
certainly
it
not.
any longer, could you?
Certainly not. I was getting quite angry when I like talking about Tyson Fury and Conor Benn in the rules. I'm glad that he's gone quiet, but I
Mm.
don't think that fight will happen now. But I do think as soon as Joshua does announce something, that's when Fury's going to rear his ugly head because he can't stand not being the centre of attention in British boxing, can he? So watch
Yeah.
this space.
Do you think Sam Jones is going to rinse his mouth out with TCP now he's back from Saudi?
Certainly not. Not someone with that much Botox in his head likes doing what he's doing. So, he's going to carry on. And he looks like a bad George Michael tribute act.
Mm.
I wonder what Puppy Parsons is going to say about
Oh, Poppy Parsons. I went to Saudi with Eddie Hearn and bought him his first Burger King. What a title that is. See it?
that. Yeah, I did.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. He's
What
starstruck in here for a little Cabbage Patch Kid. He looks about 12. He used to ask
Mhm.
good questions, but now he's crossed over to the dark side.
Well, that's what happens when you've got a promoter funding your channel, isn't it? There's
Yeah,
conflict of interest.
yeah,
So,
yep, it is. James, Dave Allen against the Elmer Fudd, the Johnny Fisher. What's happening here? The Lazy Rhino against Elmer Fudd. Is it on or what? We've got Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. They fought on the same night, signed, sealed, and delivered. Is the White Rhino going to get into his head that he is not getting the Elmer fight?
well, I mean, he said he didn't want it, didn't he? Because he's me pal. How'd you do
He's
it,
me
right?
pal. He's me pal. He's a pal of
Yeah,
mine. He's not my fucking pal. None of them are.
no. So,
Won't
I
buy him
don't
in the
know.
street, pair of them if they see me.
Yep. Depends how. It depends what sort of Dave Allen's saying on a certain day, really. And really, if he's going to keep changing his opinions, he wants to stop having his own YouTube channel where he says one thing and then goes on Talksport and says another. Stay
He's
consistent.
just doing YouTube thing for money in it. Really, it's just greed. They want to eat off our plates, don't they? But
Yeah.
what they want to make is the white rhino. You've become boring now. Don't base your career around Elmer Fudd. It's gone. You beat him. You didn't get the decision. Move on. It's no good crying over spilt milk. Keep
Yep.
going on and on and on about it, and eventually people will turn off. So go fight somebody else, get back in mix. I mean, when he got with Dennis, signed a 6 fight deal, they were going to have 6 fights and get an area belt and start all over again. That were all the big nonsense chat. So he had the 6 fights. What's happened? He's not wanted to start again. He wanted to jump in for money fights. It's not good. Go and get an area belt. Go fight Solomon Dakras. Work your way up and fight David Adelaide. And then before you know where you are, you could be fighting Wardley. Get a belt.
Hmm.
The only belt you've got is a snake belt from Woolworths. And they've been
I,
bust 15 years.
yeah, I wouldn't want to see him fighting Wardley. I think
I
that'd be
don't
an
want to see
absolute mess.
Rhino fight again, really, to be honest, looking at it. He looks like he's a shivering, stumbling wreck. It reminds me of Daphne Doo's dog, Scooby. Well, it does, honestly. It's becoming painful listening to like that on his YouTube channel. He's sounding like Del Boy, who is a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What do you think to Fury's white beard?
Well, he's an elder statesman, isn't he? I don't. He can do what he wants. Just stay at the ring, stay off me TV. I don't like him. But again, he's absolutely wadded. He doesn't care about my opinion, does he? But no interest in him whatsoever. The whole family make me angry.
What about the
His
old
dad
man?
in
Do you
particular.
miss him?
No, he's a narcissist. He reminds me of my stepdad growing up, and I couldn't stand him either. So
Do you know what? I'm missing Big John Fury. If I see him, I'm going to give him a big hug and a big kiss. Big John, we miss and love you. We miss your bullshit. When you got chased through Manchester in a Cosworth by helicopters. They couldn't even catch him, so they had to send out for Airwolf.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? He's that fast a driver. It makes Brian Cockrell, a Group N rally driver, look tame. Big
Brian
Brian Cockrell,
Cochran.
our strongest man in the world at that time, he said.
He said
I
he
went into, did you see that? I've just watched it the other day, the tax man. He said,
yeah.
I went on holiday, he says, and we went to this zoo. There's this big gorilla there. And he says, that's the strongest mammal on the world. He says, and at the time, I was breaking world records. He said, I was a very strong man. He said, it took
Yeah.
one look at me and he knew that we were very
We're
similar.
very similar.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that was
God,
it.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And
Oh,
then
you
it
want to
showed you
watch?
him burning down the street in a Mondeo in a
I know.
Lonsdale trackie from Sports Direct,
I
right?
know,
With a
yeah.
stupid T-shirt tucked into it. And then he started going on about T5s and helicopters and been pulled in for murders. And he just went from one fantasy island to next one, and then Group N rally driving, armed blags and ram raids, and it was just one big load of one big mess and taxing drug dealers and knocking these hard men out from up there and
Yeah.
flattening them, and half of them were dead who we'd knocked out. So nobody were backing his story up. It
No,
were
exactly.
mesmerising. They ought to do a film, didn't they? Called
Yeah.
The Cockerel.
If if you want a proper laugh, you mentioned James English before, didn't you? Right? You don't even need to watch the interview. Go on James English and just read the comments. It's just bloody hilarious, mate. I'm telling you.
Well, you know what they say: once you tell a lie, you've got to tell another, or you've got to shut it down. And Bry the lie just keeps going and going and going and going, doesn't he?
He does. He
My God,
makes
I
jump.
can't believe it. He's all his teeth are falling out, his hair's falling out. He's lost
Hmm.
all power in his arms. That's what happens when you take steroids. It's all gone from him, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The man's a shivering wreck on Pip, but he's talking a good game. He
I
couldn't
know.
make
He
it up.
makes John
People,
Fury look modest, don't he?
He makes John Fury look like a vicar. But then again, John there with his weekends in Marbella and mass orgies, bags of drugs and 3 bottles of malt a night, and running wild on yachts and stuff. He's a proper like Mick Jagger.
Yeah, I know. They'll do a film on him, wouldn't they? The Rise of the Foot Soldier.
Oh
He'll be in,
my
mate.
God, I couldn't
He'll be in the
bear it.
11th
What?
one.
Living off the land.
Yeah.
Okay, women's boxing, we're going to finish on, James. Is it in the toilet? And has Ben Shalom shafted Savannah Marshall? Yes or no?
Oh, I might, that'd be a more interesting story than most women boxing
I
fights.
don't
If
mean
Ben Shalom,
shafted her as in that. I mean, as he promised to the world as regards
yeah.
slots on Sky and got a note. And is his days numbered?
Well, I
Bombay
would.
Dave and Johnny Horsecock are going around like headless chickens saying that his days are numbered at Sky. They're
Yeah,
telling the chosen few. So is that true?
I would certainly. I'd believe so. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's served up dross, hasn't he? I mean, he goes on about, oh, we delivered you not Eubank. We delivered Khan and Brook. Yeah, but really, who was really interested in that fight? It was absolutely dead in the water, and he did. He must have let Savannah Marshall down because she sat there and said, "I feel really let down by Sky and the situation I'm in." So eventually, the story will be told there. Um, the problem is with Ben, he hasn't got a personality, and that sort of always let him down. So I do think his days are numbered at Sky. Yeah, you need to be a window salesman like Eddie. You know what I mean to get anywhere there. I think.
Okie dokie then. Well, James, it's been a pleasure.
As
Hope you
always,
well. And peace out.
thank you. Give me love to Andy and tell him I want to be on the channel soon as well.
Andy, James wants to go on a Bosman free to Andy's cavern. Let me know, and we'll discuss
See
it
you.
in a team meeting.
See you later. Love
See
you
you, mate.
lots.
James, James, bye.
Bye.
Well, that was James with his remapped wheelchair. Women love him, men don't want to be him. That's about it, really. I better go downstairs now and get my a Rocky bar. Is that right, Rocky? I think I'm going to have a Snicker and a cup of Nescafe Azura and get ready for Andy, who is not from Aberdeen. Go on, pop, pop, bang. Go on, peace out. Max! Ring me when you're a cruiserweight, Max.